The line, his presidency, his re-election hopes, his political life, it now seems no amount of embarrassment will budge Joe Biden from running for November elections. Let's now take this question, whether President Biden is fit to be re-elected for the White House, to our team in Washington. My colleague Nick Harper is in Washington, D.C. He gives us more on this and other stories making headlines around the world. Nick, would Biden's performance at the press conference yesterday be enough to silence his doubters?
Well, it's certainly being picked over here in the US media. The Biden allies, though, are saying they're confident he's done enough to win over those doubters. But US President Joe Biden still remains heavily under the cosh after 3 more members of Congress from his own Democratic Party joined a growing list of lawmakers demanding that he drop out of the race for the White House. Those calls for the 81-year-old to step aside have escalated since the president stumbled through a recent TV debate with former President Donald Trump 2 weeks ago. In an effort to allay fears about his fitness for office, Joe Biden held that hour-long press conference last night at the NATO summit. Our reporter Benji Hire was there.
This was a solid, yet albeit unspectacular performance from the president, though it's unlikely to move the needle either way. He didn't do enough to quell those rising concerns about his candidacy, nor enough to end it altogether. His bid for re-election is still in peril, following further defections from his own party. Biden was defiant, insisting he's best qualified to govern and win. He was particularly cogent and fluent in response to questions about foreign policy. But in this era of heightened scrutiny, the event will be remembered more for a series of slip-ups. He mistakenly referred to his deputy, Kamala Harris, as Vice President Trump, just hours after he accidentally introduced his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky as President Putin. Remarks met with a sharp intake of breath from world leaders and journalists alike. His rival and predecessor Donald Trump was quick to mock those gaffes on social media, in response to which Joe Biden told reporters to listen to Trump, implying the Republican Party frontrunner is also prone to verbal stumbling, not to mention what his critics perceive as the threat he poses to democracy and America's standing in the world. It'll be Trump's turn to be the centre of attention again at the Republican National Convention next week, where he'll be officially announced as the nominee for November's election. But then the spotlight will likely return back to the current president, who says he's sticking around to finish the job. Benji Hire in Washington, reporting for DD India.